Somali leaders endorsed Donald Trump during the election, and now he wants to deport them.
Donald Trump is back in the headlines after making controversial comments about Somali immigrants in the United States, specifically stating he does not want them here. His remarks have sparked a huge wave of reactions online, and creators are calling out the implications, the timing, and the broader impact these kinds of statements can have on immigrant communities. The conversation is growing fast, and people from all backgrounds are weighing in on what this could mean politically, socially, and culturally. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at some of those reactions and hear directly from people who have something to say about Trump's comments. Let's get into how the internet is responding. Before we jump in, make sure you like this video, drop a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates.
Somali leaders endorsed Donald Trump during the election, and now he wants to deport them. So if you don't remember, during the election, Somali leaders in Minnesota did a press conference where they publicly endorsed Donald Trump. Now, fast forward to recently, Donald Trump is, doing his press conference on the news, and he's saying that he wants Somali people gone. He says that he does not like them. He says that, I guess, the areas that they live in are poverty-stricken, and, they're not good people, and that's why they don't even want to live in their own country, and he knows that it's not politically correct to say that, but he don't like them, and he wants them gone. There's a lot of immigrants that are learning the hard way that, your proximity to whiteness means nothing. There's a reason why a lot of Black people don't care to be, in white spaces. They don't care to bootleg or none of that. There's a reason, because at the end of the day, whether you believe that you're Black or not, I'm not Black, I'm Somali, they don't care. So now these leaders have gotten on, national television, told their community to vote for this man, their community that probably trusts them, and that same man is talking down on them as people, talking down on their country, and wants them gone. To no surprise. And then you have Somalis now tweeting, that Black Americans think it's funny. They're not worried about, what's happening to Somalis when, this is just going to intensify racial profiling, and they're now going to be racially profiled. I'm so sorry. Somali people, yeah, some of y'all are beautiful, but there's no way in hell you're going to look at me and tell me that I look like I'm from Somali. You know that I look like an African American. I'm not getting racially profiled as somebody from Somali. I'm so sorry. They have very distinct features, and it does not align with what I look like. So no, I am not worried. And I feel bad for the ones who were not naive and not dumb, but this is something that you have to take up with your community, not mine.
On this edition of FAFO, the Somalis for Trump edition.
Which is barely a country. They have no anything. They just run around. There's no structure. Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries, too. We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country.
Now, let's rewind back to the 2024 election season, because some Somali voters said that the economy and social issues are driving them to vote for Trump. Economic issues and LGBTQ issues in local schools are prompting more Somali voters to choose Republican candidates, say several Somali community members. Then this article here said that Democrats lost support with Somali Minnesota voters in 2024 presidential election. Concerns about the war, the economy, and not feeling heard contributed to shifting political tide. And a lot of them then voted based on faith as well as against LGBTQ issues. Well, let's see how some of them are doing now. New immigration operation is set to target Somali migrants in the Twin Cities, Minnesota. And this one goes with the video clip that I just showed you. It says Trump calls Somalis garbage, he doesn't want them in the country. Makes me wonder if any of those Somalis have friends or family members that are of questionable status or aren't permanent or legal residents of some type, because these raids are gonna go after them specifically. And he also called your folks garbage. I'm gonna venture a very strong educated guess and say that you did not expect the leopards to come and eat your faces. But anyways, have the day that you voted for. Bye.
Donald Trump, what he said has to be the biggest eye-opener for all of the Somali expats living in the West. Put things in perspective, I'm a Somali, British-born Somali. Grew up in the UK, London to be precise, and I moved to Hargeisa about 1.5 years ago. And it was the best decision I've ever made, because I've been living here. I'm stress-free. I go about my day. No one says anything to me. This is my country, right? At the end of the day, this is my country. And this is the thing about us immigrants. We get caught up in building other people's countries. If I was an American, I would be straight away thinking about how to get back to Somalia, so I don't know, wherever you come from. Why? Because how are you contributing to a country that sees you that badly? And by the way, Donald Trump is the only one who's actually vocal about it. There's others that think the same thing. That's why I say the least that you can do is build up your own country. And I'm not saying go into politics. You're contributing to your country just by living there. I would just advise my Somali American brothers and sisters, especially those living in Minnesota. Invest in your own land, invest in your own country. Don't waste your efforts on pleasing another man and another country.
I remember when Muslim Americans said that they will be voting for Trump. Now, I do understand leaving the Democratic Party because obviously Kamala Harris and all the rest all take money from AIPAC. But voting for Trump is really crazy. And now Trump said that he is going to get rid of all the Somalis because apparently Trump thinks that Somalis are just not useful to America after they voted for him. Now, I'm not going to be mad at Trump about this because I do remember in 2017, Trump himself said that, let me remember the words correctly. He said, "You knew I was an orange, frosty skinned snake, and you still voted for me. So enjoy what you voted for."
These attacks against Somali folk in Minnesota are about the creation and maintenance of a white ethno-state in America. That's actually not even an opinion that I have. The Trump administration is telling us that explicitly. They are telling us that when the Department of Homeland Security is explicitly tweeting about remigration, which is a far-right European concept about ethnic cleansing, and they are telling us that when they are welcoming white South Afrikaners, pretending that they are being marginalized in post-apartheid South Africa. Everything that this administration and this country, everything that this country does is about maintaining the power of white people to have privilege and to rule. That includes immigration policies, that includes the boat strikes that they're doing in the Caribbean, that includes the war they're manufacturing consent for in Venezuela, it includes the demonization of DEI policies, right? All of it is about the maintenance of white supremacy. And I don't say any of this to be flippant, right? But I do think that folks often assume that there is a more complex reason that we are seeing and experiencing what we are, and it actually isn't, right? It's just white supremacy, right? And I think that like policy and political folks try to obfuscate that reality, but the reality is that they think that this country is by and for white people, and they want the rest of us to leave. So yesterday it was Haitians in Ohio, today it is Somali folk in Minnesota, and tomorrow it will be some other marginalized immigrant group, right? And they will not be happy until Black and brown folks are eradicated from this country. Because to be clear, this is not just about immigration, right? The people they really want gone is Black American folks, right? They hate that we are not slaves anymore, right? And they will not stop until all of us, Black people, as the final boss, they will not be happy until all of us are gone.
Ilhan Omar is big mad. She's not talking with all that arrogance today. The largest welfare fraud scandal in all of America's history has happened in her district, Minnesota. So during that Democratic shutdown, the Republicans were working. Allegedly, the Somali community funneled fraudulent autism claims back to Somalia that goes into the accounts of Al-Shabaab, an Al-Qaeda terrorist group. So President Trump terminates the temporary migrant status for all Somalians. So let's talk about it. Allegedly, the Somalians found a way to exploit the HSS program of Minnesota. These funds were designated to autism, addicts, seniors, and those that needed help with housing. Word on the street, this program was ran loosely. Somali children are overly diagnosed with autism. They are enrolled in expensive social services programs. And then these inflated autism claims are submitted to Medicaid. I would say this is unbelievable, but this is happening in California as well. Within 4 years, the HSS program of Minnesota has increased from $3 million to $400 million.
What happened in Minnesota is exactly why Democrat leadership is a joke, and it's despicable at times. Because imagine you were a mother and you had a child and you were living in poverty, and you're supposed to be getting funds and resources to provide for you and your child through this federal government program run by the state of Minnesota. But then you realize this nonprofit was not allocating their funds to this federal program. And when people questioned the missing funds, the Somalians who were running the fraud scheme said, "That's bigotry. Why do you have your suspicions? That's bigoted." So people began to lay off because they didn't want to be called racist. Then they realized that these Somalis smuggled over $1 billion back to terrorist groups, and they used it to live their own lavish lifestyles while you and your child are dying at the hands of your state's government, in this case the Minnesota state government, because your leaders didn't want to be called a name. They didn't want to be called racist. That's evil.
Calling Somalia a trash country doesn't make it true. Every nation has challenges, including US, but Somalis are strong, united, and hopeful. But respect is a choice, and we choose dignity. We are proud, strong, and full of hope. Your words do not define us.
So now, this administration, Trump, is targeting Somali immigrants. I see a pattern going on here. Do you see the pattern? First it was illegal immigrants, which happen to be people who are of the Hispanic ethnicity. Now, Somali immigrants. I'm seeing a pattern here. I'm seeing a pattern. Anybody else see the pattern? When is he going to start targeting European immigrants? Maybe when he starts targeting European immigrants, more people will start to care.
Mr. Trump, what do you want from us? Which Somali girl rejected him? Edo, Ilhan. No, please, like, help. But in all seriousness, this is some really dangerous rhetoric. I mean, we saw what happened with Springfield, Ohio, right? When he said those vile statements about the Haitians over there. So keep an eye out for your neighbors and do not allow this hateful rhetoric to continue spreading, because hate turns into physical violence a lot of times. And for all my Minnesota people, stay strong. Keep an eye out for ice, obviously, right? The icy roads. And be vigilant. Protect your neighbors. Protect your neighbors. And inshallah, this will pass. All terrible, all bad things always have an ending. So we will get through this.
Imagine dedicating your entire life to educating children, uplifting babies, writing books, being a teacher for many years, and you get called garbage by the President of the United States. Unprovoked, mind you, unprovoked. But I just came on here to say, whatever, we're not going anywhere. But I do want to say, I have a lot of students, former students, who follow me on this page. So I just wanted to get on here and say, you are not garbage. That Dofar you call a president, that is the real garbage. Don't let anyone ever make you feel bad for being Somali. You are Somali American, you are Muslim, and you are proud. Do not walk into those hallways and sit in that classroom feeling less than any of the other students. You hear me? I know you guys are listening because many of you message me and DM me. So I wanted to take this time to say, do not believe that you are less than anybody else. You do belong. This is, matter of fact, it's your birthright. You belong in Minnesota. Many of you were born there. And don't be scared. You're not going anywhere. Your aunties and uncles got you. Do you see them? Do you see what our people are doing? We are united. United, we stand. Divided, we fall. Okay? I love you guys, and bye. I have a lot of students, former students, who follow me on this page. So I just wanted to get on here and say, you are not garbage. That Dofar you call a president, that is the real garbage. Don't let anyone ever make you feel bad for being Somali. You are Somali American, you are Muslim, and you are proud. Do not walk into those hallways and sit in that classroom feeling less than any of the other students. You hear me? I know you guys are listening because many of you message me and DM me. So I wanted to take this time to say, do not believe that you are less than anybody else. You do belong. This is, matter of fact, it's your birthright. You belong in Minnesota. Many of you were born there. And don't be scared. You're not going anywhere. Your aunties and uncles got you. Do you see them? Do you see what our people are doing? We are united. United we stand, divided we fall. Okay? I love you guys, and bye.
Trump is coming after Somalis in Minnesota, terminating TPS protection and stating Minnesota is being terrorized by Somali gangs. Send them back home. Yeah. Governor of Minnesota, he fired back. Ilhan Omar fired back. Republicans cheering. What? What is this? Because there's only 700 Somalis that have TPS. Majority of Somalis, they're US citizens. They're green card holders. They're refugees from the 90s. They have built communities, businesses, neighborhoods. What is he talking about? Why is he framing it like the whole Somali population depends on this TPS? This is called drama, theater, better headline. Yeah. So, what is the intention behind this drama? What's your thoughts behind this?
I genuinely dislike anything that has to do with politics and politicking, simply because what politics looks like today and what it did 20, 30 years ago is completely different. When I came to this country at the age of 10 years old, I never seen anyone discuss their political and religion views and beliefs in school system. But right now, people are openly discussing this boldly with bigotry and with hate, especially with this new administration. It is giving people the opportunity to take their mask off, to personally attack a group of people because they genuinely have that hate stored in their heart. I recently came in contact with videos posted, created by African American women. It really bothered me because for her to make such an accusation and to repeat history was so sad to see. She said, this is a woman who have came in contact with Somali before, probably been employed by Somali, have had some sort of interaction with Somali, or have been neighbored with Somali, that all Somalis are people who live on government, who are not people that work, that are people that live in theft, and people who fraud the government and have been able to create luxury for themselves by frauding the system. And I'm like, okay, there is bad in every community and there's good in every community. So don't brush an entire community with one because you just got this information online and you're reading this and spreading this information like a freaking disease. And then now you're utilizing what the administration and what the president of this country is saying to validate your points by making claims and saying they need to investigate the Somalis in Columbus. I personally took the time to message her to say, hey, now you're talking about me. Okay, so hold your horses and let me educate you a little bit. She didn't want to hear my side of the testimony. She didn't want to hear my story because she knew it did not coincide with her beliefs, and she didn't want her audience or people that are watching her to hear or to even make a statement by someone who has lived in this country for so many years and have been able to elevate herself from nothing to something, without scamming, without being unethical, without lying and cheating and stealing. And it was so baffling because I'm like, did you forget, as a black woman, as a colored woman, it was just the 1800s when this country abolished slavery. How dare you put through what was put through and onto your ancestors? How dare you make such a statement that created embarrassment, that took opportunity, stripped support and positions from people of color? How dare you make such a statement? And I was like, and to see all these people of color co-siding with her and saying her she's doing great by speaking the truth. I'm like, did you really forget where you came from? Because obviously we of Somalia have not forgotten where we came from, and that's what we have been able to succeed, because when you don't forget who you are, you make the best of every opportunity. The craziest thing is every statement she made and every false and misguided information she spread online just gagged hate, personal vendetta, and this distaste for the success of people who came to this country. less than 20, 30 years ago that have been able to make something of themselves, have created wealth for themselves and their generation and their next generation to come. Because you who were born in this country haven't been able to capitalize the opportunity, and you're so lazy and you couldn't understand how important it was for you to take advantage of the resources and the time that was invested in you, so that people who came to this country as immigrants like myself took that opportunity and utilized it to the best of our ability to elevate ourselves. We came from nothing. We were not submitting to nothing again. We came from nothing to become something. And I'm sorry if that bothers a lot of you Americans who think something was stolen from you. No, nothing was stolen from you. The only thing is, you stole a life from yourself by sitting around and creating this hate in your heart and not finding a way to elevate your life and take these opportunities that was given to you to benefit your community members, to benefit your loved ones, and to benefit your children. I'm sorry that you feel like something was taken from you and given to us. Nothing was given to us free. We all worked hard. The Somalis produces lawyers, they produce businessmen and women, they produce political leaders, they produce religious leaders, they have community members who are active in addressing issues, helping one another. And there are people of collectiveness. There are people who do not submit to poor lifestyle, poverty. Most of us, and not most of us, all of us came from hunger. We came from places where we wouldn't even wish upon our worst enemy. So for this woman to make such a claim is so baffling, and for others to rally her and not tell her, hey, knock it off, because you sound a bitter old black woman who hates the opportunity these people have been able to create for themselves, because you decided not to take advantage of those services, doesn't mean that everyone is a stealer, everyone is scammer, everyone is a fraudist. If you are someone who's never came in contact with a Somali person, I highly suggest you get to learn get to learn the community, get to learn Somalis as individuals and as collective community members, because we are people who has contributed big into this community and will continue to contribute as much as we can and for longest as we can. And mind you, Somalis don't only just reside in America, they live all over the world, and everywhere they go and everywhere they reside, they leave their footprints, they leave their profession, they leave their businesses, and they create wealth in those communities. They don't take, they add values. Of course, there are those who take unlawfully, unethically, immorally. So every community member, every community, every background of individuals have those individuals who take things that doesn't belong to them, who take things unlawfully and illegally, but that doesn't mean everyone is like that. So before you pose your judgment, or before you listen to these people who have just personal dislike for the success of others, learn the individuals that they claim to have taken everything from them and make your own judgment rather than being blindly led by someone whose heart has been hardened by jealousy, envy, and complete and obvious dislike, simply because they're seeing people come into this country prosper way faster than they are and they will ever be. With that, I hope everyone has peace and love in their heart, and then continue to spread peace and love, because obviously there's a lot little of love and a lot of hate in this world today. Bye.
As a proud Somali American and Minnesota's lawyer, I thought I would say my 2 cents of what's going on in the world right now. First things first, I'm actually so shocked that Trump is attacking us. I think Trump should be thanking us in multiple ways, and I'm going to explain. First things first, I think we are a good example of what the American dream can look like. Like Somali Americans, and it's making me sad and it's funny, like I know Somali people are very funny, we're like the class clan who also happens to be valedictorian. Somalis in Minnesota are so successful. I take multiple trips a year to Minnesota and I leave so inspired. You have Somali-owned law firms, Somali-owned pharmacies, Somali-owned everything you can think of, and it's so inspiring to see that what my community could do in just 30 years. Literally, we came to this country
not speaking English, not knowing anything, we're black, Muslim, we're immigrant, and we're able to be that successful, it should be really applauded. Like, I need Trump to stand up and applaud for us because it's shocking. Literally, my friend just moved to Minnesota and she was telling me how when she gave birth, it was an all Somali staff. Her midwife was Somali, her doctors were Somali, her nurses were Somali. Like, that is so beautiful to see, and it should be celebrated, okay? Second of all, Trump, you should be thanking my people for giving a random Midwestern state that much clout and money. Like, I don't think, other than Chicago, I think Minnesota is really popping when it comes to tourism because of Somali Americans like me, okay? So you should be thanking us because Minnesota would have been nothing if Somalis didn't move there. Like, if we're being honest, like, we have made that state pop and we have made it beautiful for the rest of the world. So you should thank us, and if you want, you can donate Minnesota to the great country of Somalia. Like, I think it's a nice trade-off. And last but not least, I'm so happy that people are discovering how funny, witty Somali people are. We're very confident. And although Trump said what he had to say, like, I want him to know, Yani, like, it didn't even, like, bother. Like, it didn't do anything to our confidence. We've heard everything you've said before. People always make fun of Somalia, da-da-da. But I still think I'm better than everyone. Like, God has made me Somali Muhammad. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay. On top of that, I'm Somali American, broski. Like, I'm winning on both sides. But yeah, it's just nice to see that everyone's realizing Somali people are very funny, very confident. And that's never gonna change. It has not changed since colonial days, baby boy. And it's not gonna change because somebody right now decided to make fun of us. We're actually winning the war, so. But yeah, that's all I have to say. And to the people of Minnesota, I love you. I'll forever support you. I'll forever take my birthright trip to Minnesota. Actually, I am going to be visiting soon. It's one of my favorite places in the world. I've been going there often since high school. It's so beautiful. I love it, and I'll forever love it. And I pray that God protects you, and may Allah make it easier for you guys. It's very scary, subhanAllah. But yeah, that's all I have to say, guys. Back to regular schedule programming. I'm going to make a video about protein shakes now.
You see this? I support it. And it's really pissing me off. Because of your actions, other communities are now going to be targeted. I also noticed in one of Ilhan Omar, not even sure if I'm saying her name correctly, she referred to Somalis as black immigrants. Well, that's interesting because last time I checked, y'all don't want anything to do with black Americans. You guys don't even want to acknowledge your blackness. Instead, you call yourself Arab. Why now? Why the change now? Oh, I see. You're looking for black American support.